Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today, continuing on our Stone Timber journey here, we are doing a chippy of Libertalia, one of the newest games from Stone Meyer Games.
Yes, Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest.
Okay, Winds of Galecrest, I'm sorry.
Yes, this one was one of the most recent ones as of this filming, 2022. And it is one that they reprinted that had a game prior to it, just called Libertalia. They gave it kind of a fresh new look, but they worked with the original designer, so it's still a lot of the same stuff that was in the first one. None of us have played the original, so we can't really do a comparison of what changed in this, or if there's better things or worse things. But we will just kind of talk about what we think of the game using our patented CHIPPI scale.
Patented.
It's not patented, so please don't take it.
CHIPPI, TM.
No. You can use it if you want. I don't really care. I don't think anyone's going to use it.
Well, start us off then.
Okay, so yeah, each letter in the CHIPPI stands for something. And the first one is core mechanisms.
If you've stuck with us this entire Stone Timber and watched all of these, you've heard him explain it about 10, 11 times.
So
every
you
time
check
it's
out
either
our other
core
videos.
mechanics or core mechanisms.
Yes.
I think it should probably be core mechanism, probably.
I go mechanics.
I say
Yeah.
mechanics.
I think some people get upset because then they say, well, it's not a mechanic, like a car mechanic. But I don't know. I don't really care. I use them interchangeably.
They make the game work just like
That's
the mechanic
true.
makes the car work.
That is true, but I give that an 8. I would say the only thing that can kind of pull back sometimes is definitely the potential there for some take that.
Yeah.
So that can kind of feel bad sometimes when you're trying something, trying to get something to work. But I really love pretty much everything else in this game. There's just so many interesting ways to get points in the game, interesting ways to combo cards. So kind of throughout the game you're playing different crew to an island, and then they'll 40 different types of crew. Everyone will get the same crew, but you can all use them at different times.
Yeah,
so
like
the
there's
game
3 rounds and you take 6 crew in the first and the second and the third, and you carry over which ones you don't use from round to round, which could be different depending on what players played what cards.
Yeah, so yeah, I really like how all of those work, and then how some of them work together, where you kind of try to think of like, okay, if I do this, can I get another one to work with that, or kind of, well, when's the best time to play this one, because another piece of this is there's a reputation track, and it can kind of get you to take your sun actions earlier, or your night actions earlier if you're later on in the reputation. So it's just kind of interesting in how you're thinking of how you could position yourself in there. So I think it works really, really well.
Yeah, I had this matching you at an 8 as well, for all the reasons you said, kind of all those unique cards and kind of the order of things. Maybe you want to be first to activate your sun ability, and maybe that would actually interact with the other players and be very important that you're first. Or maybe you do want to be later and get the first token. But then maybe their sun abilities will manipulate the tokens that are out there, and it won't matter.
Right.
Just all different kinds of scenarios that can come up.
Yeah, so we actually have a 3-way crossover here, and I actually have an 8 as well.
Wow.
So I can agree with you guys more. I think it's just...
You're wrong, Mac.
I usually am
You
with
couldn't
you guys.
be more wrong about your 8. We wanted you to give it a 7.
Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to give it an 8
Nice.
because that's
It deserves it.
Yeah. So yeah, I can agree with you guys more. I think you guys really covered just about anything I would say. I love the card driven aspect of it. I think that's just chef's kiss for this game. So, but I do agree. I'm not a huge fan of the take that, and which isn't like huge. Okay, which isn't huge at all. But yeah. So.
Yeah, then we get into history of this game, and I think we've all kind of played a slightly different amount of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put 6 for myself. So yeah, this one only counts towards like a point in our overall score. So it'll eventually get to a full point for me at some point. But.
Yeah, I had 4 plays.
I guessed. You said I had 3 logged, but I feel like I've played it like 5 times now, like easily. So I just put 5 because
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you've played it enough to know it well enough. So,
Yeah, I feel that way.
But then we get into investment. What do you got there, Pepper?
I have another 8 for investment. I think it's a decently quick game, and it's not too hard to play. It can be a little tricky to wrap your head around the order of things because it kind of zigzags on the different parts of the day. I think that's pretty much the hardest thing to wrap your head around for that. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty approachable game, pretty quick, and some pretty good variability as well in there with all those different cards, and you really don't see that many. You see like 18 of 40 cards, so and like you said with Take That, there's a good chance that those cards may not even come out. Some of those more Take That cards. So yeah.
I have a 7.5 for investment, so yeah, I agree. I think like it's just there can be a lot of replayability because of the variability in the cards, you know, what's going to come out. I think setup is pretty easy. You do just have to, you know, get the deck, the original crew or whatever kind of started, and then from there, you know, pretty good. It is a quick game. I really like it. I don't ever feel like it goes on too long. Like, I just really enjoy, I really enjoy the length of it and stuff. So, not like anything like terrible with it. I just, you know, it is different, but it is the same game every time where you're making decisions. Kind of like a poker decision, so that's kind of just why I took it down just a notch, just because it is fun, but at the same time it can be stressful to know. But the good thing is probably more about core mechanics here, but the good thing is there's typically always a card that you can use to kind of help you with whatever situation you might find yourself in. So
yeah, I give it an 8.5. Just a lot of the same things you guys already said. I love that the cards are going to end up different each time, and I just love that it's kind of core mechanism as well, but kind of if your reputation is low, some card might be better for you at the time than it is for someone else, or if your reputation is high. So I really like that part about it, and it kind of can totally change kind of how a card even works, which is kind of strange how that really actually affects it that much. Just knowing where you're going to kind of be in order if everyone plays that card or something, you know you have it locked because of that. That's really interesting to me. But yeah, it also, I don't think it overstays its welcome. There's not really too many things that I would say bring this one down for me. It, like you said, there is some of that limited because you are kind of doing the same thing, and sometimes I feel like you might just kind of be at the wrong end of something just based on what cards are coming out. You just really don't have a way to get back in it. So there's that potential. And that's the only thing that would maybe bring it a little bit down for me. But yeah, then we get into presentation. So the second P in CHIPPI. What does Michaela give it for presentation?
the second P? You
Or
mean
the first P.
Okay, I was like, wait, we were just talking investment, right?
Whoops. I was just flying past. I thought we had already talked about all these. I thought we were going so quick.
You want presentation from me?
Yeah, we're going too quick, so you got to slow it down. So then I think we're at the right spot.
All right, so for presentation, I give it a 7. So I really...
Second P. Wow.
That's what it's going to be known as from now on.
Oh, brother. This is getting confusing. So I gave it a 7 for presentation. I love, love, love the little plastic tiles that you put out there as your like bounty or whatever. I think that's great. I feel like the board itself is pretty helpful. Like it has arrows, it has like a little icon thing that tells you kind of what's next. I feel like the reputation track is good. I did bring it down for a couple of reasons, and that was just mainly because the cards, I feel like some of them are just a little messy. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's just a little bit overall feeling of just a little bit messy. I don't know if it's like the backs of the cards, which are really cool because they're all different ships, or if it's just like, I don't know. But it's not like a big deal, but I just kind of get the feeling that like when you look at the card or whatever, there's not like a direct focal point, so I just kind of was like, I don't know. It's a little overwhelming. But the other piece was just, and there's nothing you can really do about this, but it's I think a 6-player game, right? And the board only sits one way, and so when we played the playthrough, we sat on the opposite side, and a lot of the cards are like direction based, so like leftmost side of the track or rightmost side of the track, and I was like,
Reputation.
Yeah, or on the boat or whatever too. And so I was like, okay, so what does that mean that I need to do? Because I'm sitting the opposite way. And so that piece is, I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it, but I did feel a struggle when we played it that way. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate, because I couldn't like read the end pieces either. Like if I hadn't played it before, I probably would have been like needing to look at them more. And so yeah.
But there are those extra tiles that
if you don't use them though, right?
No, they have the same thing. So you could have those facing people and then just take the tiles and face you. That's why that stack was in front of us.
I thought they were the flip ones where you could use to.
You can use either side, but they have. So
you can, but
one side is always the sun ones, which are the ones out on the board we were playing, and the other side flipped over is the cloud ones. It's just a way so that you could play on the sun side of the board, but maybe change up a couple of them and make the action.
You wouldn't have them for references then,
right?
Huh?
Yeah, you wouldn't then have those tokens.
If you played them, if you put them on the board, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But the way we played it, if you're not putting extra tiles out onto the board to change them, then you could use them on the other half of the board. But I can see that.
Another thing for variability. You can kind of change up what those tokens do. Really cool.
Yeah, I could see them adding even more. But yeah, for what are we on now? The presentation.
The first
now that I got confused.
First
yes, I'm giving it an 8. I think the cards are laid out really well. I may not be the biggest fan of the animal art, but it is growing on me a bit. Some of them I like more than others. There's some that just I don't really like the look of it at all. But yeah, the look of the board I think is really beautiful, which I think that's what makes me most disappointed about the animal, not liking the animals as much, because I'm like, I really like kind of this world and this look. Like this looks all, light blue and vibrant, but some of the animals just look like they're going for a whole different feel to it almost. It does, some of them to me feel way more like piratey, like
like the captain versus like
evil side of piratey.
Yeah.
Where it's like that's not what the cover is portraying
like the witch,
to me.
Maybe does it look
the witches.
piratey?
Well, when I say piratey, I should mean like more villainous, like evil, or I don't know, like dark evilness, or I don't know exactly, but you know what I mean. Like the box makes it look like a very like light, friendly, colorful world, and then some of those like don't feel like they belong in that world, I should say. But that's still, I really love the Azul like tiles that you use for the loot. I think the doubloon dials tracking from round to round work pretty well.
We have gotten really close to like 100 though, so
you can just remember.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think overall it looks very solid. But yeah, just that the art of the animals, some of them it just doesn't have me won over. And we did get the metal doubloons add-on, and those are really, really nice because you're using the coins quite a bit in the game. But I think if they were cardboard, that's why I brought this down, because I'm like, if it's cardboard, that brings it down a notch too.
Yeah. And
so it's not only the feel, it's the sound of it too. It just adds so
Are they
much.
an upgrade, or do they come with a standard?
No, you have to pay for them.
Okay.
The originals are, I think they're kind of the same shape and stuff, but they're cardboard.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. The metal coins are amazing with this one.
Yeah, I have a 7.5. It probably should be a little higher, but the card art doesn't really bother me anymore, and there are some good ones that I actually do like quite a bit. I haven't struggled with the layout of the cards. I haven't found it that messy, but I mean, there's just some things for some people that something's just not laid out right. But the board, it's just so blue and so vibrant. All the colors in the game, those plastic bits, and the doubloons are amazing. The dials work really well, even though they rotate
In a weird way.
in a weird way. Yes,
That feels wrong. I don't know why.
because it's like
I almost never get it right.
to go from 0 to 9, you go like that way on that one and that way on that one, and it's just really, really weird.
It is. Have you had trouble with that?
No.
To me,
I mean, but
maybe I put them on wrong, but I don't think so.
Well,
'Cause then I don't think it would work.
yeah.
No, can they be wrong?
Because it's 0 through 9 on both sides, right?
Yes.
I mean, I guess maybe I have noticed. Maybe I
Yeah,
turned
I don't
it
think
on
it could
the
be on
first
wrong,
time,
because
but
then
then
it'd
I
be
just
upside
turned
down.
it.
Yeah.
Right, but no. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something about it that seems off. They're nice, but yeah, I
like-
never do it the right way.
I like that there's really no reason for them to be color coded, but the chests have like a subtle color coding
yeah,
to like
the
match
little
them.
gems on there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, that is nice. It's a nice little extra detail that wasn't needed.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily needed. Now we're to the second P.
On to the third
Okay.
P here.
Preference. And I'll just say mine here. I'm gonna give it an 8. After we hadn't gotten this one to the table in a little while, before our playthrough that we just did of it. But yeah, it's been one that I've wanted to kind of get back to the table, just because there's that replayability, and I feel maybe I've played or used all the cards, but I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of on that edge of I don't know if I did or not.
Yeah. I
But
feel like there might be one or two we've missed.
yeah, but no, it's just a really, really solid game. It's really quick. I think that's the nice thing about it. It says 45 to 60 minutes on here, and we haven't played it like 6 players, but it's all simultaneous stuff most of the
Yeah.
time outside of taking the actions on there, but that's still all pretty quick.
Yeah.
A pretty quick thing. So yeah, I just can't imagine, I mean, even with 6, that it would take too much longer than 60 minutes if it did.
Yeah.
I don't know how long was our playthrough of it.
I think it was like 40 to 50 minutes.
Oh, okay, maybe it feels like it flies.
Yeah.
And that's always a really good thing in my opinion. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. I really like the theme, I guess, too. But
Yeah, I have a 7.5, and I feel like that could probably be an 8, but I had kind of written down these numbers a while ago before we did this playthrough. I think if I was starting fresh, these numbers could be a little higher, but I didn't feel I could adjust them too much. But yeah, 7.5, I do really enjoy it. It feels different than a lot of games. It's kind of got that kind of trying to outthink your opponents and figure who's going to play what cards, because you have the same cards, and who's going to have the reputation to either pick the tiles first or activate first. Just a lot of good thinkiness there, and unique token abilities for scoring as well as cards. And just really, really enjoy it.
I have the same as Jesse. I have a 7.5. So and I think this is probably one that'll just probably go up too, because I've really enjoyed every play I've done of it. It's a great kind of thinky, because it's like poker-esque, like where it's like, okay, here's what I need. What do I have in my hand of cards that can get me what I need? And then what do they potentially have in their hand of cards? You know, like, so I just really enjoy that kind of thought process of like, okay, I know they've used that, or I know that this is out, and if I take this back, maybe, you know, and so I enjoy that, I don't know, I don't even know what you'd call it, but I enjoy that thought process, and I don't always think it through probably long enough, because sometimes I'll be like, I should have played this another way, or like you see someone use the opposite strategy of you, and I just think, I never would have thought to go that way about it, but I probably should have. Yeah, that's a good move. So I just really enjoy it, and so I think it'll probably be one that I play more often. The problem is I don't think it's great at 2 players, but I always do love a game that scales well, and I think this one is one of those scale ones.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a Not Too Average board game tournament with card-driven games, and I'm pretty confident that this one will be one in that because it will play well with higher player counts and still be pretty quick. So, yeah, that's a really solid thing about it. But I would agree. They did add I don't think there was a 2-player mode in the original. If I remember right, I think that was one thing Stone Meyer Games added. But, yeah, and I was questioning if it would really work, and it does kind of, but yeah, I would say it's not the greatest way to play it. I would much prefer with more players.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, then going into it factor, I can just say mine too. It's not too high. I gave it a 2.5.
He's really all over the place with it factor sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
It's like either under 3 or 10.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just, I don't know. I was trying to think. I'm just like, I like a lot of things about it, but I don't know that anything is like extremely special. It makes me really, really, really excited to play it.
It is literally the same as another game, technically. So
That's true. That's true. It is. But then, yeah, the pirate theme doesn't, like, I feel like I was for a while on the hunt for a pirate themed game, and I thought that this one might be it, and I don't think that totally comes through.
no.
I really would have liked it to, because I like the thought of this airship type theme, but it doesn't really actually
It
totally
feels like
come
a
through.
mix of like Citadels and like Sushi Go Party or something versus Pirate. It's kind of a set collection, get points, outthink your opponent a little bit. Even the take that things don't really feel like, oh, I'm throwing you overboard or anything like that. So.
Right. So, yeah. It could maybe be a little bit higher, but yeah, I just couldn't think of anything that really, really wowed me.
Yeah.
In a special way, I guess.
Yeah, my it factor was 5. I just think it does scale well, and I think that can factor into it a little bit, and just kind of the mind games that you can try to play add to that a little as well. So, but still pretty average.
Well, I gave it a 7. I think you kind of heard me talk about it already a little bit, but like I really enjoy the thought process of this game, and for me that's kind of rare to find a game where I enjoy like trying to not necessarily outthink you, but to think about your other players' actions. Probably is going to be more difficult in like a 5-player game, but yeah, I think it's fun to know like, okay, we all started off with the same hand of cards, and from there it's just evolved, and so I think that's great. And I will say though, for theme, I feel like they did a decent job of some of it, like obviously all of the tokens are like ship based, you know, with like the hook and the saber, but then I don't know if you guys have like noticed, but like from 1 to 40 the cards get like
Their
better.
rank is
Yeah.
like,
So like the captain is 39. The only one higher than them is the governor.
governor.
At the bottom you have like, I don't even, but like the bandits and
Beggar.
and the beggar. So I feel like they scaled the cards well to make sense with why they might be a higher a numbered card, and so maybe not all, you know, piratey, but they do have like.
that's true. That is a really nice detail. I just noticed in the last game that the captain and governor were like the top 2 cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it does
I guess I
scale
didn't notice
that
that.
whole way 1 to 40, that's really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, I think not everyone is probably like totally ship based, like that one that you can turn things in at, or maybe the collector might not be like totally like ship based or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy the thinkiness of it. I do love the scale of the cards, the, you know, picking up stuff, kind of getting your bounty, getting your booty, all that stuff. So, 7 for me.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. I think Forgotten Waters, being way
Well, that
higher
is
for a pirate themed
obviously-
game, I think that made it hard to beat for that theme.
Yeah.
I should say so.
That's true.
I have to include that as a little side note as to why maybe I really love that one. So had some competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
We'll get
gives
back to
me a total of a 7.6.
Gives me a total of 7.2.
7.2.
Crossover.
We did
Interesting.
cross over quite a bit there.
But yeah, so we're all about the same with more plays and stuff. That seems like they're all right there,
Yep.
and all pretty high scores. So yeah, I'd definitely check this one out if you tend to play with 3, 4, 5 players. I think it'll be a really solid one. If you don't really like any take that in your games, I probably wouldn't get this one, just because some of those things can definitely hurt.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes where you're going to do something really cool and just something slightly not going your way just ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
So go into it knowing that there's that potential.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I would recommend it.
Me too.
Anything else about the game?
Nope.
Not another word about it.
I don't think so.
If you've made it this far, you've played it, let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Otherwise, give us a thumbs up if you like our thoughts, or if you dislike our thoughts on it. You show us.
But maybe respectfully.
With your keep it the thumbs up, not other fingers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Introducing a
Wait,
new
wait.
button to YouTube.
Comments on this post must only be in pirate jargon.
Okay. Yes, that is the only thing allowed. So hopefully you've made it this far, so you know that. But
And haven't commented already, because you need to go back. And if it doesn't start with
have
a
to
holy
edit-
lady, then
edited. But no. Otherwise, we hope to see you on our other videos. But otherwise, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on that content.